Hey, it's March the 11th. It was supposed to be nice today. What happened? It's awful cold and windy right now. The bees were flying a little bit this morning before the wind kicked up. Now it's windy and it's dropped down to about 61, 59 degrees. So the bees are barely flying. Disappointing, but that's what we get. I'm going to show you guys how to feed your bees in the spring, late winter, early spring, using my feeding board and how to mix this sugar water. I'll show you how to mix this sugar water. A lot of you ask questions about it. So let's get started. I got a winter bee kind on here. Gonna take that winter bee kind off and we're gonna put on the feeding board to start feeding them in the spring, late winter, spring, and let's get rolling. All right, so let's see how much of the winter bee kind they have left to eat. All right. Hey, I wanted to tell you guys too, while we're working this beehive, that we have our online courses available for half price until March the 20th. About another week, a little over another week. So take advantage of that. They are not my videos on YouTube repurposed. Don't think they are. These are designated classes that I've made that are specific to the topic. So you may want to take advantage of those. All right, we got a little candy on there left over from the winter bee kind on one edge. So let's take a look at that. Ooh, I should have brought my smoker. I did bring my bee brush. Let's get the bees off of this candy. I like to stay calm when I work bees, even though I can tell they're like, hey, what are you doing? All right, one more piece of candy to get off. Then we're going to feed them. All right. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of bees in there. And they're still eating that candy. They don't want to see it go. I'm going to give you something better. Just hang on. Calm down. Another little piece over here they're working on. All right, get that little candy out of the way. Now, here's what we're going to do. All right, follow me here. We're going to take, this is one I've used many times before, so it looks a little old. Don't want to smash bees. We'll get this worked down on here like that. All right. Now, we'll put our food on here. I'll show you guys how to mix this food, okay? Okay, so this is the jar I'm going to put on here. Let's take a break and go inside, and I'll show you real quick how I mix this, and we'll come back and show you how to put it on there. Now that we drop back inside, let me show you how I mix my spring feed. And I've done this for well over a decade. This is not a new concept. I've used it exclusively for 10 or 15 years, and I've had great results with it. So here's what I do, okay? And many of my customers follow this as well. So in the spring, I'm gonna make 1-to-1 sugar water. And don't freak out over volume versus weight and all that. Just 1 part water, 1 part sugar is fine. And what we're trying to do is kind of simulate a nectar flow. Now, I take brood builder, or I guess protein powder. It's also called Ultra B, depends on what brand you use. And so I take about 1 teaspoon. It doesn't take a lot. And so a teaspoon, it's about that much. And I'm talking about a teaspoon that's a real teaspoon, not one out of the sink or your silverware, because this is a little bit different. So a teaspoon, a couple of pinches usually, and then a teaspoon of the Honeybee Healthy. This is the feeding stimulant. It smells good, it attracts the bees to the food. And again, I'm talking about a tiny amount, just enough. And I don't even know if I use a teaspoon. I just use enough, like, oh, that's plenty. And these are quart jars. Whoa, so maybe half a teaspoon. I used to say a teaspoon is fine, but there you go. And then I take Amino B Booster, and this is, again, a liquid protein, just a teaspoon per quart. So just a little bit like that, and a little bit like that. That's plenty. And then I add my sugar. You might want to stir it up first. So some people say that the protein doesn't mix well, the protein powder. It's like a pollen substitute. You can put it in a blender if that's your thing. I usually will blend it or stir it up, and I'll get a good blend on it. Yeah, like that. By the way, I wanted to thank you guys for the warm hospitality in North Carolina. Oh my gosh, I love speaking out there. So great. I flew into Charlotte on Wednesday, and I spoke Thursday, Friday, Saturday, flew back home on Sunday. I'm just back home catching my breath. So thank all of you for we had like 800 beekeepers at that conference. That was huge. And it was so nice meeting you guys. I had my picture taken with a lot of you, and you were fantastic. You really was. Oh, I loved it. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed it. Julia was great, and kind of the concierge of all the speakers, making sure we had everything we needed. And ATN, who I'd been working with to get me out there. Rick for doing a great job. It was just so many people, and I'm sure I missed some names, but I loved it. Now add your sugar at this point, and until it gets almost to the top, you want to leave a little room to be able to stir and mix it well. If you put too much sugar in there, you can't stir it because it's too close to the top, it'll spill. All right, here we go. Spilt a little on the table. All right, put that aside over here. Now, if it's hot enough, it'll dissolve nicely. And so, again, the bees are going to stick their proboscis through these little holes. You can see here, get the camera just right, but you can see the little holes in here. And these I've used for years, and the holes are getting a little bigger. But just enough holes. And this is basically what I do for feeding my bees in the spring to stimulate the bees, simulates a nectar flow before it happens. Right now in Illinois, woo, it is not there yet. Now we're getting a warm up, and I'll tell you what, I'm pumped and excited how it feels like summertime, certainly spring out there today and yesterday. I went biking yesterday, 30 miles. It was that nice and warm. And I loved it, outdoors. So that was fun. I'm so tired of being on the indoor trainer this winter. Illinois, I'm in central Illinois, by the way. And it's out on the prairie, cold, brutal, not fun most of the time until we get into late April, early May. This is probably going to fool us. We probably think, oh boy, it's warming up. This is it. Spring's here. It always does this. And then bam, I'm putting winter bee kinds back on there when it just bottoms out again. But you'll see, this is the way I've done it forever. And what I'm trying to do is stimulate the bees, the queen, to lay more by feeding them. So I'm taking my winter bee kinds off and replacing them with the Burns feeder boards. And look, you guys ought to order those if you haven't already. We've got plenty in stock. So get those on your hive. One lady at the conference told me she loves my feeder boards because I think she said she was allergic to bees. And so she can change these out because they have a screen to keep the bees from flying at you when you change your sugar water. And she uses protein pollen patties. And she said she loves the way those feeders are. All right. Putting the lid on is really important. Tighten it down as tight as you can get it, and then tighten it a little bit more. Okay? Because if you don't, it can be a problem. Now, look at this. This is a potential problem. See that sugar that built up there? I missed and it spilled. Make sure you got a nice way for this to seal against that rubber gasket in there. My dad taught me when I changed oil on my car to take a little bit of oil, old or new, and put it on the gasket of the new oil filter. He said that oil would help seat that oil filter. Leave a comment if you've ever done that. Anyway, get that off of there, and that way you can make sure this gasket isn't got something on it. Otherwise, it won't seal good. So put that on there. And again, tighten it up as tight as you can get it, and then tighten it up a little bit more, and that'll help a lot. All right, that's how I mix this up to put on the hive. All right, we're back, so let's put it on there like this. Boom. Got another one. Put that on there like this. Boom. Now, we can't leave this like this or to rain where you can put a pollen patty here. So I got a deep box I'm going to put on. Let me pop in here real quick and say thanks so much for watching my channel today. We're going to keep working this bees and feeding them for spring, but please subscribe. Bobblehead David is here with his little subscribe sign. Appreciate it so much, guys. Let's get back in and start feeding these bees. So now I'll put the deep box on here, like this. And then you put your top cover, get the any bees that are flying, the top cover on there, like this. And we do have to put our cinder block back on the top. Ooh, that'll get heavier with age. I do want to address this. This is where the bees have been used to going in and out the winter bee kind here. And since I close this off, you'll see them still wanting to use it, but you'll quickly see them shift as the warmer days continue, hopefully, that they'll get used to going to their in and out of their bottom board. Now, you'll notice if you go out here at night, they'll be inside the hive. They'll figure it out. I want to extend a special invitation to all of you. You're invited to spend time with hundreds of other beekeepers. It's going to be Thursday night, 7 p.m. on my live stream. We've been having almost 900 beekeepers from the U.S. and all around the world joining us. Questions and answers giveaway. We have a great time together and you're invited. So I'll leave a link right here and in the description, 7 p.m. Central Time this coming Thursday. I hope you'll join me. Well, if your bees died over the winter, you may have some comb and boxes you need to get ready. Is it safe to use these frames again? I got a video I made to help you out. I'll see you guys right over here.